If you're wondering how to be more creative, 6 simple steps are all you need to get started. Whether you're a creative who has too many ideas and you don't know where to start, or perhaps you're currently a blocked creative who's drawing a blank, or maybe you're simply curious about how to be more creative in general, I know you'll find inspiration and useful methods in these 6 simple steps to connect with your muse and your creativity more. The first simple step is listening. Giving space to listen and hear your muse or creative ideas is so essential. Lying in bed first thing in the morning or at night before you go to sleep is a great way to give space and to tap into your subconscious. And it's also really helpful to do this when you're out on nature walks or even when you're in the shower. It's honestly why so many of us have brilliant ideas in the shower. Side note, I hear that they make aqua notes where you can actually jot down your ideas. We're going to be talking about capturing your ideas in one of the later tips, so we'll get to that soon. The second simple step on how to be more creative is asking. Asking can be such a great way to tap into more of our own creative ideas. I love the book Beautiful Questions, and in there he has a practice. Instead of brainstorming solutions or answers, he instead will write 50 questions. What I love about this again is that it plants seeds to give space to something that we might have not considered before. I've had this practice for many years of having a contemplative meditation. So instead of having my breath be an anchor, I'll ask a question. I come back to not only my breath, but also to that question, just allowing our subconscious more space to be curious and be playful. The third simple step is capturing. So capturing your thoughts and ideas is a game changer. I do this through 3 different ways. One is through dream journaling. So I'll keep a journal right near my bedside. And if I'm giving myself space where I'm not immediately grabbing my phone or jumping up out of bed, I find I can remember more of my dreams. If you're not a person who remembers a lot of your dreams, you can jot down your other creative ideas that you might get. The second way that I capture ideas is through my morning pages practice. Morning pages created by Julia Cameron is writing 3 pages longhand every day, first thing in the morning, as a way to brain dump, to quote unquote siphon off the worries. Now, you don't have to do this first thing in the morning. You also don't have to do them longhand. I've been typing mine for many years. I have another tip that we'll talk about writing. I find while morning pages catches everything, almost every single day I have creative ideas and inspirations or questions that come up. So I often will copy those creative ideas or questions over to another document. But that's where this third tip under capturing comes into play that you might like a little bit better because it can be simpler. So you can also capture your creative ideas through pocket journaling. These are really small notebooks that you keep on hand. So I love this for a few different reasons. One, you're not on a digital device, so you're not getting distracted by text messages, social media, doom scrolling, or that random thing that you thought of to look up on Google, which might just be your inner critic's way of self-sabotaging your creative idea. Instead, you know you have this one dedicated place where you capture your ideas. I can't tell you how many creative ideas of mine have gone back into the ethers for someone else to create because I simply didn't write it down. The fourth simple step to being more creative is creating. Now, creating without filtering or editing, focusing on the process, not the final product, which is something I talk about a lot here on the channel and with Mindful Art, is crucial because it gives you space to allow those creative impulses, ideas, curiosities to be explored without having preconceived notions, without having judgment before you even begin. Having a set idea of this isn't going to be good enough or this isn't going to be the way I'm imagining are like guaranteed ways of stopping you in the creative process. So instead, focusing on the process, giving yourself permission to play, and just creating is a great way to start creating more. I find that the deeper I go into my creative projects and ideas, the more that well fills up. Another way I love exploring the simple step of creating is with my morning musings practice. I talk about this in another video. It's inspired from Julia Cameron's morning pages, but instead of only writing, I combine it with art journaling and art making, plus writing and mindfulness. I do it as a daily practice, anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes, as a way of giving myself permission to experiment and see what wants to come out. And it is so helpful. It's really changed the way that I create daily, how I connect with my creativity, and ultimately how I'm more creative. The fifth simple step is reflecting. Taking time to review and reflect on your previous creations, whether that be art or writing, is really helpful to notice any golden nuggets that you want to continue to explore later, that you want to slightly change and tweak, that you want to experiment with, that you're still curious about. It's a way of continuously stoking that fire of curiosity and creativity. There are a couple ways that I do this. One is through what I like to call gallery flipping. Because I tend to make a lot with my mindful art journaling practice, I literally am flipping through the pages of my art journals. I'm noticing patterns and themes. What colors are really coming up for me right now? What shapes, what symbols, what visual forms and elements are coming through what I'm making? What topics, what ideas am I wrestling with? What emotions am I expressing? So having this way of really noticing what's been coming up for you more consistently lately, what you're still curious about and what you want to deepen in your creative practice is wonderful. Another thing that I do is called a gallery walk. This is something I learned when I did my soul collage facilitator training, where you lay out all of your soul collage cards. You're taking an overview, a look, almost like if you were to walk through an entire gallery with artwork everywhere. You're taking it all in. The sixth simple step is creating. Having non-negotiable scheduled time for your creative practice and space to do that is also a game changer. I recommend having a committed space and time for your creative ideas for at least 5 minutes a day, and ideally 30 minutes to 1 hour. And that's something, again, you can be doing when you're in the shower, when you go for a walk, when you're waking up first thing in the morning before you go to bed. I can't tell you how many people I know immediately get on their phones first thing in the morning, and that's time that you're taking away from hearing your own internal creative voice, and you're consuming other people's creativity. It can help, I've found, to choose a consistent time and place of day to have this become a more sustainable habit. Maybe that's with tea and coffee in the morning, maybe that's always with an afternoon walk time, but it's something that is non-negotiable creative time for yourself every day. And that's also why I refer a lot to creative self-care, because this is really a self-care practice. These simple steps do a couple of things. One, they help you move from procrastination to action and from perfectionism to creation. If you're curious about the 8 common ways we creatively block ourselves and self-sabotage, as well as 8 tips and suggestions to move through those creative blocks, I made a free mindful art workbook for you that includes 8 creative blocks, 8 solutions, as well as other journaling prompts that help you to dive deeper on a lot of these simple steps that I just shared. It's totally free, and you can download it with this link here or in the description box below. I'd also love to hear in comments which one you're curious to try, or if I totally forgot something that you know works for you, please share, because I'd love to learn even more ways to tap into my creativity, and I'm sure others would appreciate it as well.